Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, November 19th. We're getting close to the United States Thanksgiving Day. We need to see if we can re-roll one of these. We can't, so okay. What do I not want to do? I guess we'd play odd cost cards. And we go for 2 victories, and we don't play Major Shaman. It would be the idea. Or we just accidentally get everything done. Start with Odd Paladin. Here we go. I've still got a ton of games left over from the weekend, so I'm going to just try in this recording to burn through the games and move forward. I'm going to also I'm in a very giving mood, I guess maybe because of Thanksgiving. So I'm going to be pretty generous on games and just put them to the follow list. Which is inherently going to make the follow list just huge. Huge. That's why in March I think I need to do some cleanup. And honestly maybe even before in March. So we've got this game on Steam called Night of the Clowns Maze. This probably is a low effort game. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I can't be that generous. Even though it is clowns jumping out, and I imagine that would terrify some people. This is a low effort game. The concept could be done and it would be worth playing, but how it's been done this time tells me that it's not worth playing.
Is someone injured?
Like, somebody could take that idea, certainly. Let's see how this goes. As far as this next game that's tags sexual content and nudity.
The light dims, but we repent.
So next we have this game on Steam called Dream Girls VR. And this is not a girl from my dreams. Certainly, this is a horrible 3D model for modern time. Just absolutely janky as all get out. The female proportions are wrong. The face looks horrible. The hair looks horrible. It is bad. I mean, it's their standard obsession with bust size, which. Look how thin her wrists are. Look how long her arms are. Look at the perspective. Look at the neck. Like, look at the hips. Actually, not even that bad. I've seen it a lot worse. But just somebody who doesn't know the beginnings of the human anatomy. Is this kind of stuff just created by a robot who doesn't know any better? And it's like a VR thing. It's like, yeah, that's not a dream, that's a nightmare. And see, this is part of the reason why I personally would prefer to just see anime girls. At least the anime characters don't even try to approach the uncanny valley. And they know proportion and scale to the art style that they're drawing. When you try to do something realistic and you have no skill, it looks horrible. Just horrible. Yeah, we're still getting a lot of games on Steam like that. Just bad. Real bad. Let's see. We can do that.
Denied.
Repent.
We can do that.
Repent.
The battle.
And that. Next we have a game on Steam called Super Jet Juke, J-U-C-K. I hope that's not an offensive phrase that I'm not familiar with. And it looks pretty bad platforming, just in the animation style. It's early access, $6.39, yeah. I don't see anything here that would make this good enough to be on the list. So it goes bye-bye. Let's see, adjacent people.
Mushroom power!
this. This. There we go. Next we have a game on Steam called Dr. Tsunami, which looks like an NES game, but it's brand new. I would almost say it's an RPG Maker game, but I honestly looks like it may have just been hand programmed. Yeah, not seeing anything here. If this was like a game that came out in the 80s, maybe that would make sense. But then you wouldn't describe your game as a retro style action game if it actually was an old game. So clearly it's just somebody with no animation ability. They can't make their game look. Go ahead. Alright, 2 silver hand recruits.
Reporting for duty.
Repent!
To battle! Mushroom! For justice!
Yeah, we're gonna burn through these games quickly, hopefully. Next we have Santa Runner, which is an infinite runner with Santa Claus. Not a terrible thought, but the fact that you're making an infinite runner inherently tells me you're not putting a lot of effort into it. You can see there's tons of repetition already in this game, just a very generic background that sits in one place where platforms are moving forward and you're just jumping, and it looked like he was about to fall off to his death. The background blends in with the snow over here. So yeah, that's not of a level of quality, even at 59 cents, which is what it is right now, discounted to 49 cents. That's still not good enough. I don't know how I'd ever cover an actual infinite infinite runner anyways. They're pretty generic. I've covered a couple already that I've gotten for free, and yeah, paying for one seems kind of ridiculous. I mean, just playing odd cards, I guess. Yeah. Let's see. Next we have a game called Cards of Night, K-N-I-G-H-T, which looks like your character runs here, and then you have a QWERTY controlled cards, which that would not be where your fingers would normally rest. It's not on QWERTY, so I don't know why that's there.
I must move quickly.
I kind of want to see some gameplay, so I'm going to watch this video as I'm over here playing Hearthstone. Yeah, it seems like you select a card and you play that card, and it gives your character attacks that he can do. Otherwise, he just bounces directly into this enemies in this infinite runner. And it's like a simplistic cell phone style of game that really wouldn't even work very well as a cell phone game, because you'd have to click the cards at the bottom of the screen. I'll throw this developer a bone and see if they've made anything else of interest. No, they haven't. So yeah, Cards of Night not making it to the wish list. Let's see, give your minions the
I
right
don't
shield.
have enough mana. Reporting for duty.
Repent! Repent!
Play here. Next we have a game on Steam called Gym Simulator, which the idea is probably ridiculous. And it's mixed already. Looks like the model of the character you're playing as, or the couple of characters you can pick from, don't really matter. See, I thought maybe from this screenshot this was just a cheap excuse to see like girls work out, but I mean, if you look in the background here, you're seeing anatomical images of men more than the girl is. You're seeing of the girl. Early access, $1.19. I don't think that's a smart move. Like, my very little understanding of exercising, and the reason why there are mirrors in gyms is because there is proper form and proper technique, and if you've been educated and you're exercising correctly, you're supposed to be watching yourself and making sure you're following proper form and proper technique. If you're putting on a VR headset, you're putting this extra thing, this extra encumbrance on your head, first of all, but you're occluding, you're making it so you can't see whether the actions you're taking are proper form and technique. So it's not good for exercise. Theoretically too, if you were actually doing these actions in VR, you'd also have to have the weights, and so you're swinging around some form of weights while doing this in VR. I just don't see a reason for that. It would be better if it was something more like a Kinect system where it was sort of looking at you, telling you you're doing a good job in the real world, versus you looking at virtual things. See, this game is already mixed, so I'm not going to put it on the wish list. Just sounds like a bad idea. In general, just a poorly thought out concept. This, and this. Gamasutra has an article. High-Res Studios is bringing cross-platform play to Smite, Paladins, and Realm Royale. I don't know if that inherently makes any more people want to play Smite, Paladins, or Realm Royale. No. In a lot of ways, it feels like it's just a little too little too late, honestly. Yeah, I kind of don't have anything else to say about that. I like the idea, but you really need cross-platform play to your games on day one. Day one is pretty much the true thing you need to focus on every time.
Smart moves. I concede.
Take another victory. So we won 2 already, and now we just need to play some more odd cards. Yeah, we may have more news in time, so we may need to jump back to the main account. Next we have a game on Steam called Dark Fantasy Jigsaw Puzzles. I will applaud this jigsaw puzzle for at least going for a bit more polish on their theme. These are really small puzzles again. It's going for a better thought out idea too, instead of just doing your standard anime girls. The real world, actually, people have sold fantasy and dark fantasy jigsaw puzzles, so there's actually more of a market there, I would guess. That being said, this is still just a jigsaw puzzle game, and it's still just kind of a low effort thing. So yeah, it's not making it to the list. Yep.
The light dims, but we fight.
Let's see. Now we have a let's see. Trying to see what. Here we have a game made by somebody who can't even afford Bandicam license, called Lonely Shooter, which if you take the LY then you have Lone Shooter, and that should be red flagged. Shooter in general should be flagged and looked at it by Valve. Seems like you're shooting bugs. but like Bandicam logo, just a very low effort. You're in one position and these bugs float upon it. Yeah, total piece of garbage type of game. Definitely not making it to the list. We already talked about this game that I think is a Russian troll game. We might be close to the no, we're not close, but I can see the end in sight as far as looking at all these games, which would be interesting if I ran out of all the games to talk about, but whatever. Next we have a game called Swords of Rapier. It looks like it's a cell phone game from that interface. Looks pretty generic, like it's trying to be a JRPG of sorts, or a cell phone port. Yeah, definitely doesn't look good enough though to make it to the list.
Repent! I fight.
Next we have a shoot 'em up game called Steel Vampire Bullet Hell. I don't like shoot 'em up bullet hell games. This one actually is zoomed in probably way too much for a bullet hell game. Look at how much explosions and such are just happening on the screen. But here's like an enemy boss, and if this is your ship, or if is this tiny square here your ship, what's this then? Seems like you have two ships. Interesting idea, but still a problem. At least it's widescreen for the most part. They did something with that content, or that canvas space.
Reporting for duty. To battle!
Repent! I fight.
So yeah, that's not making it to the list. Next we have a game called Snuffles and Company. Snuffles and Co. Looks like it's very generic, basic platformer of some sort. Just like random, basic tiles getting placed here. $4.99. Says it's a top-down multitasking game. Yeah, it looks like it's not much of a game at all. Alright, so if I rotate this.
To battle!
Didn't do that, didn't do that, didn't do that, didn't do that.
Reporting for duty.
Next we have a game on Steam called Afterlife, which looks like it's just a random assortment of pixels. Some kind of simulation game. Ah, it's from LucasArts though. So that brings in some relevancy. Although I'm gonna have to be careful here about do I really need to play every single game from LucasArts? Because if we look over here, you've got Star Wars Episode 1, they got added Escape from Monkey Island, The Curse of Monkey Island, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition, was already on Steam, Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine has been added, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis has been added, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade may have been added back, Outlaws Handful, Monkey Island Collection for $13.10, Star Wars The Force Unleashed Unlimited Edition. Some of these games definitely were just added. Some of these have been here before. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to do like 2 or 3 collections during this sale.
Let me think.
Just to think about what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna purchase. whenever the next Steam sale happens. And so we can point out, like, Escape from Monkey Island is the third game in the series that I skipped over, and it didn't get a remaster, and it probably won't get a remaster, so I need to pick this up. This will go to the top of the wish list. There's no reason to even put it on the follow list. I totally want to play it and cover it. I jumped over Escape from Monkey Island and Curse of Monkey Island. Actually, it might be backwards. It might be, yeah, this is actually the fourth game in the series. So it's Curse of Monkey Island I want to do next, and then I would want to play Escape from Monkey Island. Then I should have played the Tales from Monkey Island series, which kind of reboot it. But honestly, I did not particularly enjoy the direction they took the story in the Tales from Monkey Island series. So yeah, that's gonna be on the wish list. Next we have Sam and Max Hit the Road. Now, you could certainly see when I first saw this, I thought, oh, maybe there was something being tied up with Telltale, because Telltale had the rights to the Sam and Max series. And maybe it was. Maybe the second Telltale went out of business, Lucasfilm could just release these games. They had them already prepared. That might be the case. But Sam and Max Hit the Road is the, I believe, let's see. I think the original game, I don't think there was a Sam and Max before this, but there's another one, I'm fairly certain, after this. And this is developer Lucasfilm, publisher Lucasfilm, comma Disney Interactive. And see, technically I would say Disney Interactive probably is not even the right name. Speaking of right names, I saw an article talking about how Nintendo of Japan doesn't really exist, and it's just Nintendo Company Limited because they're the headquarters, which is weird because that copyright claim on that E3 trailer of what was it, the Mario and Rabbids game that was announced at E3, that said Nintendo of Japan, I'm pretty sure. So not only are they lying that they own a copyright on something that they cannot possibly own a copyright on, they're lying about the name of their own company. But I'm sure in any ensuing court case that wouldn't be a big issue. Like, you're not gonna catch 22s somebody in a court case because the judge will just go, well, whatever, we'll just amend that filing for accuracy's sake. Like, here we have a game on Steam I have never even heard of. Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. Apparently it came out in 2003. It must have been like an exclusive to like a PlayStation or something. I've never even heard of it. It's not really a point and click adventure game either, so yeah, totally want that. I want to cover all the Indiana Jones things. There's a whole bundle: Fate of Atlantis, Last Crusade, the Emperor's Tomb, and the Infernal Machine. And the first two are the Scum VM point and click adventure games.
Converting stored energy.
The light protects me.
Now, it would be a little weird, certainly, to play Star Wars Episode 1 Racing. But not that weird. This game actually is kind of good fun. It's going to be dated, certainly. But I would be willing to play this. I remember playing like the Wii version of this, and it wasn't terrible. They put so much focus on here. You can see it's rated very positively. They put so much focus on the pod racing scenes in Star Wars Episode 1 that it kind of had to be at least slightly fun to recreate that in the video game. Let's see. Next we have another game from LucasArts I've never heard of. Outlaws and a handful of missions. The fact that they're scraping the bottom of the barrel here and just releasing games I've never even heard of tells me that this is probably everything. I bet that there really isn't anything else from LucasArts that isn't that can be sold. I wouldn't be surprised if half of these games also run into just problems in their cheap, low effort launches. They have to be run through emulators. I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly the case. But I still want a lot of them. Top of the wish list. We have Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Another. I knew this game existed. It was like exclusive to like the GameCube or something, and Nintendo 64 maybe. So yeah, I want to play it, but boy, does that look rough too. Once they got away from the point-and-click adventure games, they went with the 3D, which this is inherently what a lot of point-and-click adventure developers tried to do, is that they tried to embrace 3D animation way too early.
Access denied.
Just an insanely large amount of effort to make the characters 3D. Yeah. When a good old-fashioned 2D point-and-click adventure game would be better. Next we have a game on Steam called Glory and Honor, which looks like it's a very rough, low effort RPG game. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything intriguing there.
Mushroom power!
Photonic burst.
Job's done.
But what we do have is another game, yes, in that first, called Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, one of the earliest ScummVM point-and-click adventure games. Super weird. I also would have to have a lot of help and look at a walkthrough to beat this game. I did not play this when I was a kid, so like I don't know the solution, but I think I actually have played it once, but I think I was using a walkthrough. I think a lot of these games would very much come under the walkthrough issue. And see, this one is from Lucasfilm Games, which is just Zack McCracken and Maniac Mansion. So the names are getting mislabeled, or perhaps accurately labeled, to the point where Steam is not realizing that it's the same company. This.
Reporting for duty.
This.
Reporting for duty.
That. Next we have a game on Steam called Stunt Island, which looks like it's a old flying game. It's from Disney Interactive and the Assembly line, which inherently I guess tells me that Disney is just putting every game that they have on Steam, but I have no nostalgia for this game, and this game looks like garbage. So, and this is the only game from the Assembly line, so yeah, no surprise that one's not making it to the wish list. I'll get hyped for things that have relevancy, but I am also going to have to carefully evaluate some of these other games and say, no, not really. It might be cheaper to buy a bundle and own all these games, and if I already own them, I might do a 30-minute spotlight on the game, but specifically earmarking money for some of these games would be ridiculous. Next we have a game on Steam called Predicate, which looks very simplistic. Some kind of color asteroids flying around. I guess I could be really, really generous here and let this stay on the wish list. But honestly, this just looks like that ag.io that game. Yeah, it seems like it's really just that. Yeah, that's a top-down twin-stick shooter bullet hell game of ag.io style. Yeah, that doesn't look interesting.
The battle! The battle!
This deck I'm playing is winning very well. I love the fact that I'm not even paying attention to this game and I'm winning and getting a win streak. That is amazing. Next we have a game on Steam called Schwip, which looks like a top-down asteroids bullet hell game with a bunch of neon colors. Nothing else. Yeah, not making it to the list. Okay, so I'd have to kill something, no big deal there. And then we can do that. And then that.
Reporting for duty.
Even though he reset his life to 15 with Alstraza here, I still won. Nice. And so Odd Paladin is done. Let's just ride the wave for a second here because I want to cover some more news and I need to think about what I want to do here. Gematsu has an article, the Tales of Series 23rd anniversary broadcast, Tales of Room 2018 is set for 2008. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced the beginning of the development of another game in the Tales of JRPG series. I'm sure depending on whether you're interested in the Tales of series will greatly affect how you feel about a broadcast like that. Usually those broadcasts are very long and they don't really have anything to show. Moving on, we have a game called Descending, which looks like it might be an asset flip survival game. Has a little bit more polish to it, but you would really need a lot of polish. And there's a little dark screenshot syndrome happening here too. I'm gonna be really generous though and put this on the follow list just in case it turns out that it actually has something worth redeeming it. But I almost certainly know that it doesn't.
Reporting for duty.
Next we have a game on Steam called Chronos Arc, which looks like a old school JRPG game. Doesn't look terrible, but it's from a unrecognizable developer, unrecognizable publisher, and honestly if I'm gonna play an old school JRPG, it's gonna be like Final Fantasy 1, 2, or 3. It's not gonna be something new, or it's not going to be Chronos Arc, it's going to be something.
Let me think.
Something like, what is that game that starts with Chrono? Chrono Cross? No. Chrono Trigger? No. I think there's a lot of games that start Chrono actually.
The battle! The battle! The battle!
Yeah, this developer hasn't made anything else, and this publisher really hasn't published anything interesting. Yeah, I just don't think Chronos Arc has any relevancy. I'm willing to miss out on that game, as I'm still trying to figure out how to break down the large number of JRPGs that are still on the wish list into a more reasonable, manageable number. That adding more does not help that, particularly if they don't look amazingly good. But speaking of adding more that you probably shouldn't, this next game is called Beyond the Sky, and it's a point-and-click adventure game, and I'm a sucker for point-and-click adventure games. It has a art style that may be bad and may not. Like, it may be an art style or it may not be. Like, maybe you just can't animate. See how this gameplay actually looks. The long, slender, creepy perspective, I think, is intentional. Like, even this character looks weird even compared to the other characters on the screen.
Converting stored energy.
It seems like it's got a decent collection of puzzles in it. Let's do that.
The battle.
And that. And then hit that. So yeah, I'll put Beyond the Sky on the follow list, and we'll see how the reviews shake up on it. Let's see.
For justice.
Play that. And attack you.
Reporting for duty. Job's done.
Next we have a game on Steam called Galactic Incoming, which is just clearly Galaga clone. Wow. You know, Galaga and some of these old school arcade games, they have more relevancy nowadays simply because there's so many clones of them.
For justice.
It's really ridiculous.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty. The battle. The battle.
There we go. Let's see, we are getting towards the end of the list of new games. I may have to go down my Twitter feed just to wrap up this episode. We have a game on Steam called The Plague, which looks like it might be something, or it might just be a half-polished game. You know, this one deserves a chance. There's a lot of polish I'm seeing on the animation and stuff, and it's not just random zombies attacking and random weapons. Like, so yeah, this one deserves at least a bit of a look at it. Now over here, just do that.
Mushroom power.
A wild miscalculation.
That.
The battle.
And that.
The battle. The battle.
And that.
The battle.
And that.
Quickly.
And do I want to do anything else? No, I think I'm good. Next we have a game on Steam called Spark 5, which looks like it's a top-down game of some sort, but it honestly looks like more of a puzzle game or just a wandering around game. The areas seem way too small for fights to be happening in that area. I'm not seeing any bullets happen. I really need to see some gameplay footage. Let's see. Is it a stealth game? Says it's an action adventure game, and it says it's explosive gameplay. Says it's an adventure puzzle game.
What if?
Yeah, I just don't see how I could like this. This reminds me of an old game that I played on PC that was a nightmare because it was just full of situations where you would just die. One hit kills, booby traps everywhere, you just die over and over again. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. It's $2.09. It's probably not that good. Obviously.
The light protects me. A wild miscalculation. The light dim.
I don't know why this one keeps talking when he's clearly losing. But whatever. Alright. Can I kill a couple of these? No, I could do this. Let's see, 9, 10, 11.
For justice.
Let's actually do that.
For justice. The battle must move quickly. The battle. Reporting for duty.
In the turn. Next we have a game that is tagged with nudity and it's a visual novel, so I'm not going to show it to you. It's called Nico Charm, Nekocharm. And this one is got some anime characters in some scantily clad clothing. So, yeah. The animation kind of is all over the place, frankly, and I have no idea what kind of game this really is supposed to be. It says it's a visual novel, so I guess I should believe it's a visual novel. But I'm seeing characters with guns, I'm seeing characters in torn clothing. I'm seeing a cat character. There's just a lot of randomness.
I don't
Feels like.
I fight.
The battle. For justice. Reporting for duty.
Yeah, I don't think Nico Charm would make it to the list. The only other game by this developer is mixed reviewed also. Okay. I think we can do this. Alright, I can play this, or I can swap this and kill how many? I can kill 4 of these right now and then have one that's 5-1. So, start with this.
Dream and the world trembles.
And
For me.
just in the turn there. Mostly I'm looking for something that would do like damage to everybody. We've got a game on Steam called Another Sight, Hodge's Journey. I feel like there was another game called Another Sight. This is already mixed, but I'm willing to overlook that and put it on the follow list. It looks like it's a 2.5D platformer of sorts where you're playing as an animal, and I feel like I may already even have this game on my wishlist. Let's see, the question here is, yes, there is a game called Another Sight that is rated very positively, and I think
Time grows short.
that's the reason why this is should stay on the wish list. Okay. So I kind of need to do some research and see, is this on the wish list or is this on the follow list? If it is, then this free side quest game should also be on the wish list or follow list. Okay. Magnetic.
Let me
+5, +5. Let's... no, that still won't do anything good. Let's see. We have nothing here.
Let me think.
Alright, let's start with this. Okay.
For
And
justice.
attack here and lose. Alright, I lost.
Reporting for duty.
Alright, okay, okay. So that's the streak broken. Where are we now? I think I want to run back to the Americas account at this point. And we only have a little bit more to talk about as far as games. And I don't know how long we have left on an hour. Like 11 minutes, so one more game. Anyways.
The tavern is booming tonight.
11 to 30 more minutes, so if I go long. We got a dungeon boss run. Yeah, let's do the dungeon boss run. Wait, so was that Monster Hunt or Dungeon Run? Dungeon Run. Okay. Let's see. Destroy, destroy, destroy. Preparation. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll play here. We have a game on Steam called Ruins: The Forgotten Path, which looks like it's an adventure game. It's got some weird animation here. I don't know if this is because of a lack of ability to animate or if it's just some weirdness.
I sense
In general,
great power.
requires VR.
Come closer.
The fact that this is a VR game is actually rather surprising. So this looks like a spell casting VR adventure game that I'll put on the fall list and we'll keep an eye on, although there is definitely some roughness in the animation here. Let's see. Trade out these cards. I have to remember I don't have a timer limit when I'm playing this. Seriously? For a second there I thought the game was not going to even load. We have this game on Steam called Valor Time. Valor? It's already mixed. It's not my cup of tea as far as these medieval simulators. I've seen better, frankly. Yeah. No name developer, no name publisher, it's free. So yeah, no reason why that should make it to the list. Over here, we want to probably just kill this one and to just do 15 damage.
Once upon a time.
Next we have a game on Steam called Colonization of the Moon, which looks like a basic Plants vs. Zombie tower defense game using MS Paint level graphics. I haven't used that insult in a while. Yeah. 59 cents discounted, no surprise there. 5 damage to an undamaged.
Justice is mine.
Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Toaster Jam, which is... I have no idea. It's like a single screen pinball style game, as best as I can tell. No, it's not really pinball. It's you propel yourself forward and bounce yourself around, trying to collect things. A game like this concept is going to get boring extremely fast as you try very hard to cause things to be collected. Seems like you can manipulate the environment somewhat in the level editor, but this is a very basic idea. Looks like something that would be more attuned to a cell phone concept. Play this.
Justice is mine.
Attack here. Next we have a troll game called Human Rocket Person that has a thumbnail of a man who is completely naked except for a helmet and cape. He's on a pogo stick. This is clearly a troll game. The thumbnail is censored, thankfully, but that's about all I can say good about it. I didn't even really have to consider that one.
Justice is mine.
Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called A Book of Beasts and Buddies, which seems like it's these are real photos in the background as backgrounds and then some very generic Pokemon ripoff style of characters. Like, honestly, if you're gonna make a Pokemon ripoff game, you'd have to be able to animate a lot of characters and take on the RPG elements and do so much to rip off Nintendo and then get sued into oblivion because of it. This game is free. No, I don't think so. Let's see, destroy an enemy. Play.
I wield the power of Black Wind.
Next we have a game on Steam called Alice in VR, which looks like a VR Alice in Wonderland game. Dark screenshot syndrome. I love the Alice in Wonderland video games whenever anybody with any ability makes them, but there's also a lot of people who are just very bad at making games. They try to use Alice in Wonderland as a excuse. And see, most of this footage is being shown of people playing the game instead of the actual game. The actual game looks like garbage. Let's see this.
You want to buy a funnel cake?
Attack here. Give me this back. Take this. Copy this. Play this. Play that thing.
Justice is mine.
Next we have a game on Steam called Fruit Pop 2. This probably is Ninja Fruit clone. Actually, it looks like it's an Arkanoid clone. Interesting. I imagine this developer has made lots of other games and none of them have been reviewed that well. Yeah, Fruit Pop 1 was a free-to-play game and it was reviewed kinda well, but that's it. 6 damage to the enemy hero and we should be... That's 1 victory. So yeah, Fruit Pop 2 not making it to a loose. Let's see, what are we gonna take? Backstab. or take some jade. I'm gonna take these.
Candlebearer thinks finding buried treasure makes Kobold a pirate.
Versus
Next, there's a game on Steam called Occupy White Walls, which seems like there's nudity in the thumbnail, so I won't show it. It seems like it's a massive multiplayer sandbox game is what it's selling itself on. I don't know why you would call it Occupy White Walls though. Like you've got the word white, which can be used contextuously. You've got the word occupy, which can be used contextuously as potentially inflammatory. I'm using a bunch of big words here that I might be misusing. Like, why can't you think of something better? Like, well, I would frankly prefer just Sandbox Simulator 2018 if that's what you're gonna call it. It seems like that's all this really is.
Job's done.
It does have an art section to it where you are hanging apparently actual art masterpieces on the wall, and so you're like designing almost like a museum. But I think there's more to that than that. If this really is just a museum simulator or art curator simulator, why not go for that? Why not just focus on that and call it that? Let's see.
Justice is mine.
Job's done.
Yeah, this game is early access and free to play, but I don't really buy into the sandbox mentality of making a art museum. Like, I don't see why that needs to be an open sandbox massive multiplayer game.
Justice is mine.
Let's see. I'll go ahead and play that. And do I want to go and kill this guy? Sure. Next we have a game on Steam called Kobold Chapter 1. Looks like it's a horror VR game. Live VR games. I think the a lot of dark screenshot syndrome. Pretty well animated character there. This one deserves to be on the fall list, at least until it gets some reviews. It is also episodic, so it would never make it past that point. For a while, at least. Like, it would have to finish its game.
Mine.
Man, I played that wrong. I should have done that first. Only have about 5 more games. We have a game called Guns and Guts, which is a top-down twin-stick shooter with MS Paint graphics. I've done this one before. You've heard the song and dance before. 99 cents. Yeah, not making it to the list. Okay. So we attack.
Justice is mine.
Wait. Go ahead and just kill this guy. And just kill that one. Do that. And the turn. Next we have a game called Temporality, which is a World War I side-scroller mature game. Interesting. See, I don't know if this is a low effort game or if it looks pretty low effort from what I'm seeing. Let's see, short reflective music game set in the Great War. So it seems like it's probably more of a barely an interactive experience. You know what? I'll put something like this on the fall list though. Like, even if it is just like a 5-minute experience. Time only moves when you hold A or D. So you can like rewind time. Interesting. Pushing time forward or let it stand still. Interesting. Right. This, and this.
Justice is mine.
Yeah, so I'll put a game like this on the follow list. We'll see how the reviews are. Now, decent chance that I would never actually play that game. Right, can I do this? No, I can do 5 though and just win. Next we have Sword Art Online, last song. Because Sword Art Online is popular right now because it's very positive, this stays on the wish list. I'm fairly certain that this is a single player. Yeah, it has a single player element to it. So yeah, until Sword Art Online like completely dies, that would be the point when I would say, okay, I've managed to not play any of the Sword Art Online games.
No, take candle.
Yeah, we'll take the candle.
I'm telling you not take, and you take anyways.
Let's see. I'll take this. See, I have only like 2 games left. We have Final Cut Frame Fatale Collector's Edition, which is the only hidden object game I think I've seen all today. $12.99 from Big Fish Games. Standard Big Fish game release of a hidden object game. Claiming it's a collector's edition. Like, that's really something. I have some kind of extra spell damage that I picked up where this is doing 3 extra damage. Yeah, passive spell damage plus 3. Which turns out to make it pretty awesome. I'm gonna hold on to this. This would be 13 damage out of 30 in the first place. Next we have a game on Steam called You Have a Drunk Friend. And I guess what you're doing is you're trying to help this drunk friend or do something with them. It seems like this is pretty much just a joke game though. I suppose the idea would work as like a scene in a bigger game. I could see in something like Hitman or like Gears of War would make sense too, where like one character is just straight up drunk and you have to deal with them. Let's see, I want to play this first. And I don't really see a reason to kill this guy yet, so we'll wait. Yeah, but this
Prepare to face the mighty Millhouse Metastorm.
This You Have a Drunk Friend clearly is just like a troll game. Or a low effort game. And that's the last game that we have. So now I can look at the Humble Bundle store and just see if there's anything new. No, the Dystopian Games Bundle still has 7 days left. And then there's a bunch of books and the comic book Darkness, Sci-Fi, and Sex Bundle is still going. How time does that have? Like 8 days. And so yeah, that's I think all we needed to do. So we refilled that. I should have attacked first. Do that. And that. And let's see, do I want to do anything else? So I'll save it. So yeah, he gives me all these free spells, but the free spells come at the price of more of these trogs showing up on the field. So that puts me back at my Twitter feed as we're about to wrap up here. Let's see. Yep. If I can win here, it's kind of all I need to do.
Justice is mine.
Attack. And yeah, I kind of don't want to do anything yet.
Prepare to face the mighty Metastorm.
So yeah, Steam has a game called Diamond Love, which looks like an RPG Maker game. We may look at that, or I'll just save it for later. And see, I wouldn't be surprised if what happens here is we run into a kind of basic scenario where everybody shuts down for the... I'm gonna go ahead and kill this one. And hit this.
I already attacked.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see too many game releases or video game news. Yeah, 4 hours ago, Farming Simulator 19. We already covered Farming Simulator 19. Borderlands 2 episode 38, Game of the Year edition, they aired 4 hours ago on my channel. Alright, so let's go back here. And see, I think we can probably finish this pretty easily, because I can come back here and we'll just start again, and unless I manage to lose. I've won on all of these, so it doesn't really matter. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to scroll all the way down to a point on my Twitter feed so that I start seeing new content, because the new content decides not to show up at the top even when you hit reload. There needs to be like a secondary reload button or something. It's weird how their caching works. I've complained about this many times. Knights episode 5 I think was the last episode of Knights KNIGHT aired on my channel. Let's see. Go ahead and play that. Do that. End the turn. As I'm scrolling down as fast as possible, just to see if there's anything new, or if it's just that one game, that one RPG Maker that doesn't probably matter one bit. Alright, let's see. We could attack here, 3. That would be better. Ex-Remedy CEO opens new Helsinki studio, Red Hill Games, from GameIndustry.biz. I didn't think I talked about that. Must have missed that story. Probably could mute Clay. That. Okay. Yeah. Play this when that's that. Probably best place to buy anime, in my opinion, the right stuff. I believe has a sale for NIS America Anime, which NIS America also makes video games, so that's why I think I have that on my Twitter feed. Come on, legendary, that last legendary I need. Nope. Not even any gold. Now what will be interesting is if this turns out to be 70 dust again, because that was weird. Nope, we're back to 40 dust. That's more realistic. I must have gotten a card that had been recently changed and then I dusted it for its full value. That must have been the case. Alright, so if we can just sit here for a brief second. I hate to do this, but it kind of needs to happen. Twitch also, by the way, is not really doing any Twitch Prime exclusive things right now. You would think that now, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that'd be a great time to log in and get some free games. Yeah, so far it was a pretty good stream today, and now I can move on to banging my head against trying to automate the scheduling of new videos and saving myself some effort in the extremely long run. Nobody came on the chat, not surprising. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a completely dead week. Alright, now I hit the point where it Valve discontinues Steam Link hardware. Interesting. I wanted to get those really cheap, but they always cost too much in shipping. I was going to hack it though, so I wasn't going to use it for its intended purpose. Let's see, what else do we have as far as news as I'm scrolling down here? Maybe not that much. That might be it. Gamma Switch has a video about the audio processing of Nier Automata. Slightly interesting. Microsoft deal will help inXile escape the uncanny valley of game development. Is an article floating around if you're interested in reading it. It's probably not anything very informative about it though in that article. Like, Twitter's trying its little heart out to find any new content to show me, and it's now hit the spinning circle of loading forever, and I think that is as good of a place as any to wrap up this recording. So, as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos, because that helps me with YouTube and tells them that my videos are worth watching. If you want a friend or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, you can support me through Patreon by a monthly donation, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist, or just gift me a gift card or any game you want to see me cover. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.